Hello and welcome to the channel. In this video I'm changing the headset bearings, the head bearings on my old Honda CT110. If that's something you're interested in seeing, as usual, stick around and I'll get straight into it. How do we know that our bearings need changing? Well, the handling will be terrible, even worse than normal, but with the bike on the centre stand, front wheel in the air, you can see that you'll feel where the bearings are worn, and the bike will be reluctant to move from the straight ahead position, and you can feel just how notchy the steering is as you move the steering around. Definitely need changing. And the first thing I'm going to do, with the bike on the stand, front wheel in the air, remove the front wheel and the front mudguard, the front fender. Next, what I'll do, I'll remove these 4 bolts holding the handlebars in place. Then I can access this bolt here and this nut. Once I've cracked this bolt here, I can loosen the pinch bolt and drop the fork out. Now, because I had all the gubbins all over my bike, the screen and everything, I had to take the handlebars off first before I could crack this bolt. It's probably easier to leave the handlebars on. You can use them to brace against. So you just need a 14mm socket and then a pinch bolt. And the fork should slide out. If the fork's not sliding out, you can remove this pinch bolt, put a wedge in the slot there, tap it, and it should widen the bottom yoke, the triple tree, and let the fork leg slide out. This one's sliding straight out. And so we'll just do the same on the other side. And that fork leg should slide straight out. And when you're putting them back in, don't worry, you can't get them wrong. The left hand one has this lug on the bottom for the brake. And now this top nut. And you can see, I should have cracked that first, shouldn't I? There you go. That's off. No, the washer. That's the top yoke free. You can see the bearings in there. This is an older style one with all the balls. I'm not worried about catching them because I'm going to throw them all away. There we go. Now what I need to do is to knock the 2 bearing races or bearing cups out of the stem. I've just got a piece of steel that I'll use as a punch and a hammer, and what you do, knock it on one side and the other and the other and the other, and hopefully it should slowly come out. and there it goes. And now for the bottom one, the same. That's the bottom one removed. Now what I'll do, I'll clean it all up and then go on to working on the actual stem itself. And this is probably the worst job that most people don't look forward to doing, is removing this bottom race, this bottom cup, from your bottom yoke or triple tree. Apologies for the noise, cancel the mowing. I'll just see if I can remove this seal. And what you can do, if it's really tight, obviously you're going to clean up the surface here so that it will slide easily. If it's really tight, you can add some heat and that will drop off easily, but you'll destroy your paintwork. You can get a Dremel and grind a slot in there and tap it and crack it and it will come off. But what most people will resort to doing is getting a chisel and putting a chisel in there. That's a bad idea. You can damage the bottom surface, so try not to do that unless you have to. Is it possible to get something down there and just gently tap it without damaging it? If it's not tight, that's probably going to happen, but whatever you do, take it easy and don't damage anything. So I've got an old screwdriver that I don't need anymore, and I'll just try gently tapping, see if that's going to do anything. I'm really lucky because I think this is moving, it's quite loose, it's not tight. Yep, so it's coming off really easy. So I was really lucky with that. So I'm fitting taper roller bearings instead of the usual ball and race. That's a much better bearing because the taper roller can withstand axial load and radial load. Much better for this application. I was fortunate that this bearing pretty easily dropped onto there, it wasn't tight really, but if not, I've made this tube that just fits on the race, so you don't want to touch the case, and this nut fits perfectly in there, and that can be used to wind the bearing down onto there. But as I said, didn't need it in this case today, and I've used some high temperature extreme pressure grease. So with the two bearings, the bottom one has a larger internal diameter and they will fit together opposing each other like this. Now all we need to do is to fit the bearing races, the bearing cups into the frame, making sure we fit them the right way around. So obviously they will fit opposing each other like this, and we're nearly done. So we need to tap the bearing race into place, and the last thing we want to do is hit on here with a hammer or something hard and damage the bearing. So what I'm going to do is use a piece of wood and tap on the wood. Once that's in, when you need to fully push it home, you may need to use a socket. If you haven't got a socket, what you can use is the old bearing cap, which will fit on there, and you can tap on that and slowly knock it home. Let's see how we go. And the main thing is to keep it square. that's as far as we can get with the wood. A little bit more to go, and you'll be able to tell by the change in the sound when the bearing cup bottoms out. So I'll use this. Hear the noise? That's bottomed out. Now it's just a matter of clean this up and put the seal on there. So using the old race, I was able to fully tap the new race in place, and now I'll just tap out. There we go. Old race out, and now we're ready for sliding in the yoke. This will go. And how tight do you want that nut? Well, that's the $64,000 question. You don't want it too loose so there's play in the bearings, but you don't want it too tight. Otherwise you'll make the steering stiff and you'll wear out the bearings prematurely. And if you've got one of these to do your clutch and you think, oh, well, these holes, one of them will be handy to do up this nut. No, it won't, because it doesn't fit. But really, so what I'll do it tight and then back it off slightly. I can feel that's too tight. Just like Goldilocks porridge, that's just right. On there. I'll get somewhere close just for now. So I've had to remove the top yoke again because as I was putting it together it just didn't seem right. There was a gap below the fork legs there, nothing was aligning, and what I found looking at the boss, the difference between these two nuts, if I take this dust seal off you can see the difference between the width there and the width there. So this is the wrong nut. It's my own fault. I should have paid more close attention when I was checking the parts. And that's much better. The top yoke's in line, the triple tree, everything matches, the gaps match, all because of the nut. This nut, the boss on there was too wide. This came with the bearings and I thought, oh, I'll just put that on, a bit shiny, bling bling, pretty the bike up a little bit. I'll put the original back on and everything's lining up fine. The main thing with these jobs is, especially the fork legs, it should be easy. It should be easy to dismantle, it should be easy to put back together. If it's really difficult, it usually means there's a problem. You can either have a bent fork leg or a bent, usually a bend maybe in the bottom of the triple tree there. Something's not right. So if it's not going together easy, stop, have a good think and look what's wrong. That's the job finished off. Not too hard really. The only problem I had was with the nut that was with the nut that came with the bearing kit. So simply double check, make sure it's the same size. Hopefully if I show you there, probably you can't see the shiny one, it's a lot bigger, a lot thicker. So I finished off. Make sure you double check and torque all the bolts. Don't take my word for it, look in the manual, get the torque figure, fully torque up all the fasteners. Thanks for watching, hope you enjoyed it. Subscribe if you would like to see more, and I'll see you again soon in the next video.